Most Costco members picked their membership tier at sign up and have never thought about it since. Costco sells two personal membership tiers: the Gold Star at $65 a year and the Executive at $130. That $65 gap buys you a 2% annual reward on most qualifying purchases, which sounds unremarkable until you run the numbers. Last year, my household's membership cost $130, and it paid back over $300 in reward certificates. That is what happens when you treat the membership decision like a math problem instead of just picking whatever comes up at sign up. Today, we are breaking down the full picture, the exact spending threshold where the executive upgrade pays for itself, and the credit card layer that adds a second reward running in parallel. We'll use a framework I call the Costco ROI Ladder that tells you precisely which setup makes sense for your household. Now, before we get into the numbers, I want to be straight with you. This is not personal financial advice. I am just a husband and a dad who ran this math for our household and wants to help you do the same. Your numbers are yours, so use this as a framework, not a prescription.
Welcome to your Money on Easy mode with Damien.
Most Costco members have no idea whether their membership is paying them back. Here is the one number that settles that question. We are running the Gold Star versus Executive Math today, the first rung of the Costco ROI Ladder. Gold Star costs $65 a year and gets you everything most people associate with Costco. Full warehouse access at every location worldwide, a household card for one other adult at your address, discounted gas, the pharmacy, optical, tire center, and the food court. The satisfaction guarantee covers both merchandise and the membership itself. If the membership is not working for you, Costco refunds that fee. That detail matters, and we will come back to it. The executive tier costs $130 total, $65 more than Gold Star. And for that difference, you get one primary added benefit, a 2% annual reward on most qualifying purchases at Costco warehouses, Costco.com, and Costco Travel. The reward caps at $1,250 per year, which means Costco only caps you out above $62,000 in annual qualified spending. That is not most households. So the break-even math is simple. The upgrade costs $65. 2% of your annual qualifying spend needs to equal $65 for the upgrade to cover its own cost. So divide 65 by 0.02 and you land at $3,250. That is the number. Spend $3,250 in qualifying Costco purchases over a year and the reward covers the upgrade fee exactly. But here is the detail that trips people up. Not everything qualifies. Gas at Costco does not count. The food court does not count. Tobacco, postage stamps, and the membership fee itself are all excluded. Alcohol in some states and prescriptions in others. If your typical Costco run is a tank of gas, a rotisserie chicken, and a case of paper towels, your qualifying spend may be noticeably lower than what your receipt shows. For a bit of context, market research firm Numerator puts the average Costco member at roughly $3,000 in annual spend across about 30 trips per year. So most households sit right at the edge of the break-even point. That is exactly why a quick math check matters before you renew. But here's the low risk part. Costco's satisfaction guarantee covers the upgrade itself. If you upgrade, track your qualified spend through the year, and the reward does not clear $65, then Costco will refund the upgrade cost. The realistic downside of testing Executive for 1 year is close to zero. That is an unusual offer. If you want a product-by-product look at whether the base Gold Star membership pays for itself through specific categories, episode 35 runs a payback score on exactly that question. So today picks up from there. Log in to Costco.com, pull your 12-month purchase history, subtract gas and the food court, and multiply by 0.02. Compare that to $65, and that is your executive upgrade answer right there. There is a credit card that runs a second reward on top of your Costco membership at the same time. Most members who have both have no idea that they're already stacking. We are adding the Costco Anywhere Visa by Citi to the equation today, which is the second rung of the Costco ROI Ladder. The Costco Anywhere Visa by Citi is available to any Costco member, Gold Star, or Executive. No annual fee beyond the Costco membership that you're already paying. It works anywhere Visa is accepted and doubles as your physical Costco membership card. So one card, two jobs. The reward structure covers ground well outside the warehouse. 5% back on gas at Costco locations, 4% on other eligible gas and electric vehicle charging, up to a combined $7,000 annual limit across both gas categories, then 1% after that. 3% on restaurants and eligible travel, including Costco Travel, 2% on all other purchases at Costco and Costco.com, 1% on everything else everywhere. So here's the stacking mechanic that most people miss. The executive 2% reward and the Citi Card 2% on Costco purchases are two completely separate programs. The executive reward is calculated by Costco and mailed as a certificate about 3 months before your renewal date. On the other hand, the Citi reward accumulates through your credit card account throughout the year. They run in parallel, neither cancels the other, both can apply. So the result is an effective 4% return on most qualifying warehouse purchases when you have both. A household spending $4,000 a year on qualifying Costco purchases earns $80 from the executive program and another $80 from the Citi card. $160 total against a $130 membership. That's a net positive before you count a single dollar you earned on gas, restaurants, or travel outside the warehouse. Now on Costco Travel, the numbers get more interesting. The executive 2% reward applies to qualifying Costco Travel purchases. The Citi card earns 3% on eligible travel, including Costco Travel. Stack those and you're looking at an effective 5% return on eligible portions of a booking. A $2,000 vacation package through Costco Travel puts $100 back in rewards alone. Costco Travel is getting its own full episode because that math deserves a dedicated breakdown. But know that any meaningful travel purchase is one of the highest return categories in the entire stack. Now there's one redemption detail to know up front. The Citi reward arrives once per year as a certificate with your February billing statement. It expires December 31st of the year it is issued. However, if your total reward tops $300, you can request a direct bank deposit through the Citi app instead. That's what I did this year. But miss the window and the certificate is gone. So put a reminder on your calendar for February. If you have a Costco membership and do not have the Citi card, check the current reward structure at costco.com/credit card. The gas and restaurant categories earn regardless of how much you spend at Costco specifically, so the value case extends well outside of the warehouse. Costco membership stack works when you run the math honestly. There is one way it turns against you, and it's subtler than it sounds. We are covering the consumer trap built into the Costco rewards system today. And this is the part that nobody puts in the brochure. The rewards math only holds when you are spending money you were already planning to spend on things you were actually going to use. The moment a purchase happens primarily because it earns a reward, you have spent $1 to earn 2 to 4 cents back. That is a net loss regardless of how it feels at the checkout. Here are 2 specific failure modes worth knowing. The first is spending more to earn more. It is subtle. You buy the larger format because the reward applies to a bigger dollar amount and the per unit cost is lower. You make an extra Costco trip for things that you could have picked up locally instead. You book a vacation through Costco Travel partly because the 5% combined return made it feel like the financially disciplined choice. Each individual decision has a rational sounding justification, but rewards only work in your favor when the underlying spending would have happened anyways. The second failure mode is just basic credit card economics. If you're putting Costco purchases on the Citi card and carrying a balance, the math is not working. The card's standard APR runs in the range of 19 to 27% variable. A 4% reward against a 22% interest rate is a loss in every single purchase. If you're carrying a credit card balance and evaluating whether to add the Citi card, the answer is to pay down that balance first. My Debt Destroyer guide at stan.store/YMOEM was built to help you do that. It will help you structure a debt payoff plan. And then there's a quieter trap worth pointing out. Once you frame the membership as paying for itself through rewards, it becomes too easy to treat most Costco spending as inherently efficient. Bulk price plus cash back, the math always favors Costco, right? But that is not when the product expires before you finish it. Not when the portion size is too large for your household. Not when the same item was cheaper somewhere else. The reward is calculated on the purchase amount, not on the actual value that you extracted, meaning that savings that end up in the trash are not savings. Check out my previous episode on the Costco mistakes you are making to learn more about which categories make the most sense. So please use the Costco ROI Ladder as a filter, not a spending license. The upgrade makes sense when your natural spending already clears the break even. If you find yourself making extra trips or buying extra items to hit a threshold, the threshold is working against you. Are you still making minimum payments and getting nowhere on your pile of debt? Let's change that. If your credit card balance feels like a boss fight that you just can't win, well, I made something for you. It's called the Easy Mode Guide to Destroy Your Debt, and it gives you the exact plan to break free. In this 23-page guide, we'll bust through common myths, learn step-by-step strategies, and you'll discover how to pay off your debt faster, without shame, overwhelm, or giving up everything that you enjoy. Whether you're into the snowball method, the avalanche method, or have no idea what either of those mean, this guide is for you. If you're ready to finally start paying down your debt, then this guide speaks plain English and delivers results. It's just $19.99 and it's available in my storefront. If you click the link down below to enter my Stan store, you'll see a big green button to purchase the guide. Please don't let another month slip by with no progress. Hit pause on this video, scroll down to the show notes, and click the link to download this guide. Now back to the show. So here is your 20-minute homework assignment. Log into your Costco account on the app or at Costco.com. Pull your last 12 months of purchase history. Subtract out gas, the food court, and any other excluded categories, then multiply the qualifying total by 0.02. Compare that number to $65. If you are above it, then the executive upgrade is worth testing this year, and Costco's satisfaction guarantee means your downside, if it does not pan out, is a refunded upgrade fee. If you're below that number, you just save $65 with a 15-minute math check. And while you're there, look at what you spend monthly on gas and restaurants outside of Costco. If those numbers are meaningful, the Citi card earns 4 to 5% on gas and 3% on restaurants, regardless of how much you shop at the warehouse. The card does not need heavy Costco spending to be worth having. So here's where we landed. Gold Star is $65 a year. For lighter Costco shoppers, it is the right call. The executive upgrade costs $65 more and pays for itself at $3,250 in annual qualifying spending. Most US households are close enough to that threshold that running the check takes less time than a Costco trip. And because Costco refunds the upgrade fee if the reward does not cover it, the test costs you nothing except the time to test it out. The Citi card adds a second reward running in parallel, bringing the effective return on qualifying Costco purchases to 4% and earned separately on gas, restaurants, and travel, regardless of how much you spend at the Costco warehouse. But it only works in your favor if you pay the balance in full every month. That part is not flexible. And the consumer trap is real too. The rewards math works when you are spending what you were already going to spend. Once you start optimizing the spending to try to chase the reward, the optimization has turned against you. If this episode helped you figure out which Costco setup actually makes sense for your household, please share it with someone who has a membership and has never once checked which tier they're on. There are more of those people than you would expect. Remember, new episodes drop every Sunday on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Search for Your Money on Easy Mode and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'm Damien. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Your Money on Easy Mode. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe and share it with a friend.